Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Colour Summit in and from South Africa. My name is Lien Potgieter. I'm a colour therapist, and I'm also the host and organizer of this summit. So the goal of the summit is just to remind you again of the beauty of colour and where we find it in our lives, and then also maybe teach you a little bit about how you can use colour in whichever form you prefer to live a healthier, happier, and more fun life. So today, I'm very privileged and honored to have Petra Laranjo with us. She is a personal brand strategist, an author. She's also a speaker, and something very interesting about you, Petra, is your surname.
It is. So Laranjo is the masculine version, because Portuguese has got the Latin foundation with masculine and feminine derivatives. So Laranjo is technically a male orange. So whether it's the color or the fruit.
Well, you
So
fit
thanks
right
for reminding me.
you fit right into the Colour Summit then, Petra. Thank you so much for being here. And so
Thank
today we're
you.
going to talk about your personal brand and why it is important to build and grow a personal brand in your business or in your career. But also, I think the most important part of the personal branding experience is the fact that it has to be authentic.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. Absolutely authentic. So when I started my journey, qualified fashion designer, I did all the showcases, traveled internationally, and then worked as a stylist. Now, working as a stylist, as much as it was great, it was about us fitting people into the brief. And that's where I wasn't connecting and resonating. And still, until I started helping people connect with who they were authentically, and then translating that externally through the personal brand. So that's really where it connected for me about 15 years ago. So it's been a while, it's been a long journey. But yeah, personal brand really is an impactful tool that, if used correctly, can really help you step up and show up professionally and with impact in your professional career, of course. And in your personal life, it just makes you feel more comfortable in your skin, I guess. And the challenge that I've seen with a lot of personal brand or a lot of professionals and their personal brand, and I was guilty of that as well when I first went into the corporate world, was associating with, well, to look professional, I need to look like X, which means that professional people wear X, Y, and Z. So I really conformed to what corporate looked like, although I played with accessories and tried to make it my own, but it wasn't me. I'm a tree hugging hippie by heart. So dressing up in corporate just didn't sit well. And then eventually, and especially nowadays, I guess that was many years ago, and a lot has changed now where people are allowed to step up more and show their true personalities and their uniqueness, which is fantastic. But the challenge comes in now where it's managing who you are and also still fitting in with the corporate brand or the brand that you represent. So where I still help you show up as yourself and completely your authentic self, what I also do is manage or help you find the line and the balance between showing up for yourself but still representing the brand effectively. Because ultimately, if they're paying your paycheck and they've spent millions on their branding over the years and they've built their reputation, if you're working from there for them, it means that you've signed up into their values, their vision, their mission. So yeah, helping you really be a representative. So whether you're C-suite exec, which I've done a lot of work to really help you, make a word, make a statement, make a brilliant first and lasting impactful impression, and really helping people. People should want to do business with you the second they lay eyes on you. So is your personal brand translating that you're professional, that you're confident, that you're capable, that you're trustworthy? And that's really what personal brand externally is about. So obviously connecting the internal, who you are, what you stand for, what you believe, and how we can help you translate that externally. I spoke a lot, sorry.
So what I hear you say is that personal brand, and I think we sometimes confuse it with your logo, your colors, your website, all of that.
Yeah.
we sort of link or have this association that personal brand means colors. But
Yes.
what you're saying is it's much more than that.
Absolutely, Lynn, completely right. And there's a lot of different levels of personal branding. So, as you're saying, it can definitely be your logos, your website, your brand CI, how that all fits in. But in the case or in the sector that I work in, it's saying that, you know what, your logo and a pretty website isn't enough. If there's no synergy between the two, I'm thinking of Synergy, the brand. If there's no synergy between what you say you stand for and what people recognize when they see you, that's when a lot of confusion sets in. And the last thing you want to do in this day and age is raise any confusion in the minds of your current or prospective clients. So it's really closing the gap so that you're representing the brand, whether it's your own brand or the organization's brand, authentically and holistically. So if you tell me that you're a professional business consultant and you rock up looking, or if I rock up looking like a tree hugging hippie, which is my inner core self, there's going to be a disconnect and people aren't going to trust that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm an expert. I'm going to have to prove myself to them. And in this day and age, no one's got time to prove our worth. We've got to, from the first impression, people need to believe and want to listen to us. And yes, it may be unfair that we judge books by their covers, but that's how we're genetically wired and it's a self-preservation method. So you can either fight it or you can accept it and not sabotage yourself in your career growth.
So yes, first impressions definitely count, but what I also hear you say is that your inner colors, in a way, so
Yes.
your values, your personality, your what you stand for, must also be translated from the inside out.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, Lean. Thank you for that. Absolutely. And I love what you said about the colors because it's letting your true colors shine through. So I love that link there where it's saying that who you are on the inside. And I've found with a lot of people that I work with and I coach, and it's men and women. So there really isn't a distinction between the two. Um, on helping them, again, we've conformed to the corporate cookie cutter culture, and we kind of fit into it and think, well, this is how I need to show up. So, yes, of course, there are unspoken rules of what professionalism looks like as a whole. But it's definitely, if you're engaged with who you are, you're confident in who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for, what you resonate with, and completely committed and connected with your self-worth, your value, that translates into an inherent confidence and an authentic confidence that you can't fake. So if we get the inside right, and that's where I always start with personal branding. So if you call me to just do your wardrobe, I'm going to say, look, it's not about, I'm not a stylist anymore. I don't just want to make you look pretty for the day. I want you to connect on every level so that you are saving time in the morning. You're being productive because you're starting off the day well, confident that anything in your wardrobe represents you and represents your professionalism. So there's a lot of that productivity hacks that we sort out. But most importantly, then when you walk out the door and when you show up, you know that you're communicating an effective message and you know that people know who you are, as opposed to putting on a front and then when they get to know you, they're like, oh, I actually thought this. So again, it's that miscommunication. So yes, Lean, absolutely. It starts on the inside. And once we've figured that out, that's when we can communicate it externally.
I love that you start with the inside out, and I also love that in my work because I also
Yes.
use color to see where are maybe the blocks, the disconnects, all of that, and then you translate it into a visible or physical thing in the outside world. But what I
Yeah,
also know is that we're not always our best selves.
sure.
You do have your ups and downs, and some days, say you go into a very important meeting and you don't feel that confident or as confident as you're supposed to maybe on that day, that the
Yeah.
outside color that you're actually wearing can
Yes.
bring about that energy because people pick that up and
Yeah.
they, for example, your beautiful yellow top, I love that. So
Thank
for
you.
me, yellow always says confidence. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't feel it inside, but because people see you as confident when you wear, for example, the yellow, that
Yes.
energy then translates into lifting, or it lifts your spirit and it lifts your confidence levels.
Absolutely. Absolutely agreed. We've all got, if you think of when you're sick or you're not feeling well or you're in a bad mood or you're depressed, you don't gravitate towards bright, bold colors. You gravitate towards the dull, muted tones. So that there's that definitely that psychological link that, we're drawn to what state and what mood we're in. So absolutely, Lean, if you're wanting to set yourself up confidently, it's enabling yourself to do that by having a wardrobe that supports you to do that. So without thinking, and that's a skill that I've obviously developed over the years, and I quickly know how to look for that, and I've built a wardrobe up that supports me to do that, which knowing when I am, you know, sick or flat or no energy because I've been working through 3 days solid 16-hour days and I need that pick me up, I know exactly which colors to choose. So I know now looking in the screen, I'm looking very yellow. Usually this color makes me look a lot more alive and bold, but I've got a heater with a very bright yellow glow.
I'm looking very red, also a heater.
So we'll just say, we'll have to do this in person and we'll have to do, I think, like an in-person workshop or summit when we're allowed. Let's do a color summit in person,
Yeah.
because then that really connects us. But yes, Lean, absolutely. The color that you either have a natural affinity to, um, and I laugh with a lot of people that I do this process with, this purpose for impact process, is where I go to their wardrobes and they're like, look, the colors I like are black, white, and gray. I'm like, well, A, they're technically not colors if we really have to get to the technicality of it or the semantics of it. But it's really helping people to show up. And usually when people have got a lot of the muted tones and you translate that into their work life or how they show up at work, coming out of their mouths is that either, I'm kind of a wallflower, I'm not heard, I'm not confident, so I'd rather wear the dull muted tones so that I'm in the background. So a lot of people are very nervous of wearing color, and that's why I love the work you do, and I completely resonate with the work you do, because it's helping people connect with color. We're supposed to connect with color. If you look at nature around us, it's full and vibrant with color. But for some reason, we minimize ourselves to just adopt dull, muted tones to blend into the wall. So it's really helping you be bold and be brave. And if you want to take that next step forward and you feel like you need a level up because you've been stuck, or you know that there's more to life and you want more, I really want to urge everyone to take that next step and take that bold step of making a difference. So whether it is, refreshing and updating your professional image, or refreshing and reviving and doing a complete makeover, which is loads of fun, of course. Then I really encourage people to do that and start with chatting with you about the colors, and then chatting with me about how to translate all of that. It's such a beautiful process. So yeah, absolutely. Color there is absolutely vital. So I love that you've done the summit. Thank you.
No, thank you for being part of it. So, what is the one tip that you can give our viewers to say that this is me and this is how I want to be seen, or yes, be seen in the corporate world or in the business world? So, how can I translate one of my personal values or inner values
Mhm.
into something visible? That people know,
Okay.
okay, this is you, this is your personal brand, this is something that's unique or different to you.
Okay. Sure. There's so much within that. So I'm going to give the surface level tip, because obviously we can completely filter it down. But I would say, for example, so I gave you the example that I'm a tree loving hippie. Like my heart, I would walk around looking like a hippie all day long, but I cannot do that if I want to reach the people that I want to reach, which are my business and professionals. So I've made that choice. So it's an active choice of saying to my clients, well, either you must accept me as I am, and I'm going to rock up with, barefoot or sandals. I don't actually do barefoot. So let me say with sandals and long flowing hippie skirts and all my jewelry. No one's going to take me seriously, or the work I want to do and the clients I want to resonate with. So I think firstly, the biggest thing is take a really close look at who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and your end goal. So the intention that you want for your life, what you want to create more of in your life, and how aligns with your purpose. And from there, you can start looking at, well, am I in the right space to do what I can? And I don't mean job titles or job descriptions. What I mean there is saying, have I set myself up to be able to make the impact that I want to make or add the value I want to make? And then knowing that, my job description, I might not absolutely be in love with my job description, but that's fine. But it's looking what you can do in terms of who you are and the value you can add, and add that value now. So you don't have to be doing your perfect job. We've all got these ideas of the perfect job because we want to align it with something we're passionate about. And we know that you can't chase your passions because then you'll run around like a little squirrel trying this, that, and the next thing, and you never actually get fulfilled because you get bored or the circumstances change or whatever. So, Lien, I would say for you to show up so that people know who you are is figure out who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and the value that you can add, and then bring it. Bring it wholeheartedly. And it might mean that some people look at you and they say, what's happened to you? What has gone on? Have you seen the light? So you might get ridiculed for it because people like consistency, and now all of a sudden you're changing their world and how they communicate with you. But it's the only way that you can unapologetically live your truth. So I really, encourage people to do that. And then on the physical side, what I do is little things like, I introduce little boho elements or my Buddha beads or my jewelry. But the overall impression is professional. But I bring in like little things that are me, that if people notice and they ask, it opens up room for conversation.
I love that. I love what you're saying, that you can still be professional, but you can still be authentic. You don't have to leave your personality at the door when you enter a different world.
Yes,
You have
absolutely.
to still be yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Petra. I think that is very, very helpful, and I think our viewers are going to love this. So the next talk I just want to mention is very interesting. It's also about synesthesia. This is a very difficult word for me to say, but it's someone that uses their senses in different ways. So the lady that I'm going to be talking to, she sees colors in numbers. So when she sees a number, sees a color. So I think that's also going to be fascinating.
Awesome. And that's at 3:00.
That's at 3:00.
I'm tuning in.
Thank you so much, Petra. And I think you have a gift for one of our viewers.
Yes, absolutely. So what I would like to offer is firstly a copy of my book, which is Living on Purpose, The Key to Change Your Life and Impact Others. So a signed copy. Whoopsie daisies. So obviously Johannesburg, Gauteng, if it's, beyond our borders, then we'll have a look at, costing and stuff. We'll figure that out. But I'd love to offer you a free actual copy of the book. I can also offer you the Kindle downloadable version if you prefer Kindle. I know some people do. And then also what I'd like to offer is a 20-minute one-on-one virtual coffee. So that we can go through your personal brand, try to help you take some active steps into stepping up and showing up professionally and with impact. So if anyone is keen, I don't know how you want people to reach out. Should they reach out to me directly or to you, Lien?
They can leave their comments in the Facebook group, and then we will pick a winner from one of the commentators.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Petra, and have a colorful day.
Thank you, Lien. Thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity, and looking forward to the rest of the summit. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.